Uh-oh. Ready? Okay, good. First of all, I'd just like to thank everybody that really has shown their support for me and my family.
Remember Bobby Petrino?
What would you consider traits that represent a good head coach? How about compulsive and pathological liar? No morals, exploiting employees, zero self-improvement over time, incredibly self-entitled, and when faced with adversity, run.
He's a quitter. Man, this guy just seems like a total liar and a fraud.
Well, I think he's a creep for making the move now. I think he's a quitter.
And it's a sleaze bag thing. Petrino's a fraud. Bobby Petrino is a quitter.
Good stuff from KTO on YouTube A+ channel. All this is true.
A season that couldn't get much worse for Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank did just that when head coach Bobby Petrino abruptly resigned Tuesday.
I think the best way to describe the way that we feel is betrayed.
This would be a theme with almost every employer of Petrino's. So when I see the Arkansas Razorbacks offering him yet another contract, all I can ask is, really? Are we doing this again? Have we not learned a damn thing from Bobby Petrino in his past coaching stops? Let's start in Jacksonville, where longtime head coach Tom Coughlin was at the helm. Coughlin would promote Bobby Petrino from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator. Coughlin said Petrino deserved being elevated. Then, without saying a word to Coughlin, Petrino chose to join Auburn with the same title, offensive coordinator. Coughlin only found out because of the university's press release. The two reportedly haven't spoken since. After one season, he left to coach Louisville. It would be learned Petrino went behind the backs of Tommy Tuberville and his former employer, Auburn, to discuss a deal to replace the, let's be real, now somehow Alabama senator. This occurred 2 days before Louisville and Auburn concluded their regular seasons. When confronted about, hey, we learned this happened, Petrino blatantly lied to everybody. He claimed he never met with Auburn officials. Really? Local journalists showed proof with documentation of the private plane that brought the university president and AD into Petrino's backyard. Even when faced with the evidence, Petrino resisted telling the truth until Auburn issued a statement owning up to the whole affair. He then said, he did the Drewski meme, my bad, apologies, I'm just inexperienced at this. Brother, you had been coaching since 1985. This occurred in 2003. How don't you learn anything between that time? Beats me. Although he would give quotes such as these, that Louisville is the perfect place to raise a family and I plan for all 4 of my children to graduate from high school in Louisville, he dangled the fruits of his labor with the University of Florida, Notre Dame, Mississippi, and LSU. When he knew that he had lost out on those jobs, he went running back to what he deemed was going to be his ex-Louisville. In addition, he'd interviewed with the Oakland Raiders, even after stating his unequivocal commitment to not just Louisville, but college football. Mind you, that family quote was in 2004. This is important to remember throughout this story. He'd signed a massive 10-year contract with Louisville. He maintained his steadfast commitment to the Cardinals and their program. That was until 5 months later, when he ditched Louisville altogether and joined the Atlanta Falcons to hire him as head coach. The tactics Petrino insisted upon were pathetic. Longtime NFL running back Warwick Dunn, who played for Petrino, said his rules range from a ban on TVs in the locker room at the team's suburban training complex to frowning on any loud talking at team dinners when the Falcons were on the road. We're not college kids, Dunn said. I'm a pro, grown man. Look at me eye to eye. Talk to me. But Bobby wasn't like that. Per Falcons Governor Arthur Blank.
I knew that night I was going to be on ESPN. I had an interview to do, and I was going to be asked pre and probably post game, what's going to be the future of Coach Petrino, et cetera. I said, so I said to Bobby, tell me what you want me to tell him. Tell me what you're feeling. He said, I remember him standing up, reaching out and shaking my hand, saying, you tell them you have a coach.
Tell them you have a coach. That was what Bobby Petrino allegedly told Arthur Blank. Then Just a few hours later, this happened.
One of the top stories of the day, Bobby Petrino fleeing Atlanta. Perhaps it could be phrased that way, going back to college to coach at Arkansas.
The only thing he would leave his Falcons players was a typed note that was placed in each player's locker. He bolted silently to never return, and back he went to college football to coach Arkansas. That was until his motorcycle accident in 2012. He suffered broken ribs, a cracked vertebrae in his neck, abrasions to his face. The presser, if we're being objective, was the stuff of legends. He claimed multiple times he was riding alone. He was accompanied by no one. A police report would say otherwise on the matter. It turns out Petrino was not by himself. He was with Jessica Durrell, who he hired as the Hogs' player development coordinator. Durrell, a former Arkansas volleyball player, was in a secret relationship with Petrino. The age gap was that of 26 years. Petrino, by the way, has 4 children. What is also noteworthy to this story is Durrell was one of 3 finalists and 159 applicants for the position. And Petrino sought to bypass a university affirmative action policy that requires a job opening to be posted for at least 30 days before interviews could begin. Additionally, during the hiring process, Petrino hadn't disclosed his relationship to Durrell or his payment to her. 9 days after the accident, 9 days after the accident. And not only bringing this great amount of shame, embarrassment, and sadly, for many sports consumers, hilarity at the entire matter, Petrino was canned. He was let go by Arkansas. So then what happened? Western Kentucky hired Bobby Petrino. He would last all of 1 season and return to, shockingly, the Louisville Cardinals. He would claim his Twitter account was hacked for engaging in some not safe for work practices. Many didn't believe him, simply because of his history of deceit and bending the truth. November of 2016, you guessed it, more controversy involving Bobby Petrino. He would deny knowledge of leaked game plan materials against Wake Forest. The school would suspend an assistant on Petrino's staff who admitted to sharing the leaks with defensive coaches. Petrino remains defiant and claims he had no knowledge whatsoever. He'd leave Missouri State after 2 seasons. He would pick up coordinator jobs with the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, and at Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M Aggies, where did they struggled this year, my goodness. And the buyout that Jimbo Fisher got, man, he is like the Chase Daniel of head coaches, where he's just milking this stuff. And the most shocking news of all takes you to present day, where Bobby Petrino is going to make yet another return with another school that he once coached, the Arkansas Razorbacks. We don't learn, do we? We don't learn from our past mistakes. I understand that men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. Nor does the story of Bobby Petrino. Because here's what's going to happen. Either the offense is going to be bad, or he's going to leave a la the Baltimore Colts in the middle of the night and go for where he thinks there are greener pastures. Because if there is one consistency with Bobby Petrino, it is not only lying and being deceitful, it is always looking ahead and doing so to burn the bridge, pour gasoline, and like the Joker in the Batman, push the button, or in this case, just to follow what I'm saying, light the match and blow it up so they have to rebuild. That's the legacy of Bobby Petrino. So as I look at Arkansas, I say 2 words: good luck.